Hello and welcome to episode 27 of Pacific Horseplayers right here in the HHH Racing Podcast. I am, of course, your host, Noah Meagher, joined, of course, by two fine gentlemen, one to my left and one down below. One of them, Ryan Anderson and Jackson Muniz. Good to have them on the show. Tonight, we will be covering the Santa Anita Late Pick 5, of course, because that's just what we do here. So we're doing that. And then we will be talking about some of the West Coast Derby contenders and our opinions about the four runners, at least three, hopefully four, if Baez is able to draw on, but we'll be giving our opinions on how we fear their chances in this year's Kentucky Derby. So before we go ahead and do that, of course, we have to get through some administrative stuff. So we'll do that real quick. Of course, you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. Of course, we've got the normal Power Picks tip sheet going, 822 total picks since February of 2021. And over $1 ROI. I think the national average is around 160, so done very well over the several years that the podcast has been in existence. These are not brand new anymore, but you can still go and subscribe and get those, our Team HHH Power Picks. And those of you that are subscribed for Team HHH, our Derby and Oaks package is included in that. So if you want to get all that great coverage, we're going to have, I believe, all 9 members of the podcast will be giving their opinions and info down in that. So if you want to go check that out, you can do that. And then if you're not a part of that, but still want to use that, you can go do that and find out more about us at our website, hhhracingpodcast.com. I know we made some new additions to that. Got a great photo of us last night when we did our Derby draft. So if you haven't watched that, go check that out. And then that kind of moves us into this banner right here, even though it says next Monday. That was actually this past Monday. So if you missed that, go watch that, because you will have a chance to win a free bet in this year's Derby, as Ryan makes his picture very crooked. But I believe if you watched last night's show, there are some details about how you can win a free Derby bet. But it's pretty simple. There are 2 numbers that you'll be filling out. So just go watch that video and you'll find out more about that. And then you'll put that below the video player. I think we already have I checked it out today. We have 75 comments down below. So a lot of people are wanting to win that win bet. Obviously, people got some strong opinions in this year's Derby. So make sure you go check that out. I think that's everything that we've got covered. Boys, what's going on with the crookedness, Ryan?
Oh, I was just trying to throw you off. And, I mean, you stayed pretty locked in for a bit there, and then you lost it. But I got to address this guy's tweet a few minutes. 3rd best team in Southern California. Does he think the Angels are any good?
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, the Dodgers bought their team, so whatever. They're going to lose to Padres in 5 games come playoff season. But, Angels? You guys have nobody. I couldn't name a single. Is Albert Pujols still under contract on your team? Because you guys signed him to 24 years. So outside of him, I got nothing. Oh, you're muted, right?
He's muted.
We got Mike Trout, bro. That's all you need to know.
He's hurt.
Oh, he's not.
Oh, he will be. That's his thing.
Whatever.
MVP
we have a winning record. It is April 22nd. That's all that matters.
That's the MVP right there. Speaking of MVPs, we got Katie in the chat, of course. She's ready to go. Matt Miller, last night he said PHP out. And then to start this show, he says PHP in. I love that. Jim is here. Hello, all. Very difficult week. So looking forward to getting lost in some good conversation with us 3. Of course, Jim, always a good time when you join the show. We try to make it as light as possible. The boss is here, Howard. Hello, everyone. Looking forward to hearing Mr. West Coast Bias and his teammates. I don't know about teammates. Probably just coworkers. Tell us all how great the Cali horses are in the Derby. They'll be right about journalism, maybe Rod, not Citizen Bull. Yes, you will be finding that out. JJ Tids. What is that?
That's bullshit. That's what that is.
I love that. That's definitely a first
thing about your Mike Trout take, Ryan.
Yeah, probably. We got the infamous man himself. I believe he is in episode 4 of the new Netflix series, Race for the Crown, joined by myself. I love how in that photo, I'm just like the center of attention. It's fantastic. Officially Hollywood again, boys. Time to add Netflix star to my resume. Oh, did I say it?
Yeah, you did.
You said fantastic. Well, now you just backwash into your drink. That's fucking disgusting.
Yeah, no, Charlie, great to have you on the show. He probably is going to just join for 5 minutes so he can put that little snippet and then leave, but it's all right. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into the pick 5. Let me bring that up real quick. And every time I do this, I share the tab instead of the screen. So let me do the full screen this time because then I always have to change it. There we go. That's the full screen. Starting off the pick 5 with a bang. It is race 7, the Royal Heroine Stakes, Grade 3. It is a feature on the card. $100,000 purse. It is for older fillies and mares going a mile on the turf course, and we've got a big field of 13 to kick things off, headed by the number 6 Tier Potty at 2-1, and we do have morning lines, so that is something that we can look forward to in the future. 2-1 on the line for her, and then the second choice, the 2 Raw Ability, Hector Berrios and John Sadler. Let me go ahead and get our picks to start the late pick 5. I'm going 6-9-2. Ryan's going 2-6-4, and Jackson is going 6-7-2. Ryan, as Kyle likes to say, you are the odd man out. So we will go with you in the number 2 Raw Ability, who I know you have a strong opinion about in here.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's good to start off the sequence with my play of probably the month, to be completely honest. I am so excited to watch this horse run again. Loved him last time. On debut, I mean, he was just pretty spectacular at Del Mar to do what he did and win that impressively off the bench. But last time out, I mean, yeah, he chased a slow pace. I get that the time form figure came back slow. The buyer figure is just okay compared to the rest of this field. But I mean, I don't know. I don't want to call Tier Potty a fraud because she's a very good animal and she's run really well. But I mean, she had a lead to herself last time at Santa Anita over, a very firm turf course. There's a lot of other pace in here. She's okay when she's not on the lead, but she's certainly at her best when she's on the engine. I think there's enough pace to compromise her a little bit. And I think Raw Ability, first off the bench, I think that was just kind of a warm-up from having the fall off there and most of the winter coming back in early March. Comes back now, and I think it's all systems go. I'm really looking forward to this one to run. This is my top play of the sequence for sure. You'll see my best bets later, but I'm excited to watch Raw Ability do something fun.
Jackson, how many he's and hims did we get? Did we get about 3 or 4?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and especially considering that's his favorite horse on the entire round. Like, that's kind of embarrassing.
I'm referring to Hector Barrios, guys.
Oh, yeah.
I'm referring to Hector Barrios, obviously.
Or Sadler. Okay.
Or Sadler.
Any of those people.
Or Bilardo, the sire. Yeah, any of them.
Very good win last time. I don't really have anything that I disagree with. I think the reason that I have her in third, and which is why I think Jackson has her in third, but I'll throw it to you, Jackson, is most likely price, because I think she's going to take a lot of money, and I don't think she's a very good bet at anything less than 7-2.
Yeah, I think she'll be she'll be second choice in here. I don't know who's betting on Cork in this spot. I mean, that horse has been awful the last 2 races. I think she'll be closer to 5-2, maybe. I mean, she kind of seems like the clear, obvious second choice that everyone's going to gravitate towards. Mm-hmm. That's the only real knock on her. She's very good. I don't know how good she might be. Jeez, Ryan. The slow figure doesn't bother me last race because you were never going to run a fast figure with how slow they went, and the come-up times were plenty good enough. So she's very, very talented. The only knock for me is just the price, and I think there's a filly in here that's better. That's proven that she's much better, at least at this point.
Well, let's go ahead and talk about her. Obviously, I feel the same that you do. Number 6, Tier Potty. I just feel like when these fillies are good, they get really good. Just lost 2 back in the Buena Vista and then 1 in wire-to-wire fashion last time. I don't think she's going to have to do that this time, but she hasn't hit the board, or she hasn't been off the board, at Santa Anita. And it just looks like she's sitting on a big performance, Jackson.
Agreed. Those 2 races, whether you're looking at the buyer or the time form, they tower over everyone else in this field. No doubt about it. She's the now horse. She's only 4 years old too. She could theoretically take another step forward with those 2 buyer tops. So, I mean, if she does that, they're definitely running for second. If she replicates that, she'll be right there. To Ryan's point, I do think it is a valid concern that she's going to be a little bit further back than she has been her last couple starts. I don't think it's probably a huge issue, but it is worth mentioning at least that she's not going to get that, the lead or pace pressing trip that she got her last couple starts. But she's closed in the past as well, so I don't think it's going to be a huge issue.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of speed to the outside. I believe the 10, if she does go, will show some speed for OJ Harrigy. Hamwood Flyers is going to be a dead set. she ran in that off the turf race and barely ran a step. But she's going to be forwardly placed, and then there are some others with some decent amount of speed. So it's going to be interesting to see where Rispoli works herself out. Was that why you had her in second, Ryan, or was that just because you love the two?
I just chose 2 other horses that are logical in second and third. There is no opinion I have other than Raw Ability's winning this race. I love Tirapati. I think she's a very, very talented horse. But I think those last 2 performances, I mean, I get that she was behind a pretty hot pace going 2 back, going the mile in a Buena Vista and only lost by a head. So I'm not going to, dismiss that or anything like that. That's a good effort. But last time out, I mean, you go to 47.5 by yourself at Santa Anita, you should absolutely win going a mile. I just think that there's a lot of other speed. Oh.
I need more drink, but we'll get there.
That's number 5. I think there's just a lot of other speed. And if you had to tell me that I had to pick one of 2 horses between Raw Ability and Tirapati to close from off the pace, I'm going to take Raw Ability because I think Tirapati's best on the lead. She's not going to get that, at least not, easy open lengths. So, yeah.
Well, if you're going to have someone from off the lead, it's probably the horse that you got in third on Cork, even though she has been quite disappointing and her last race was not very good, frankly. But she could definitely turn things around. And I think I agree with you, Jackson. I think she's going to be quite a bit of an overlay. I think maybe 5-1 if I had to guess. So, I mean, if you're going to have her, I think Saturday is probably the day that you want her. Jackson, let's go to the horse that you have in second. I'm very glad that you have this horse in the biggest because I almost threw this horse somewhere in my top 3.
Yeah.
This is the 7 Son of Hill, who was in that Raw Ability race, but just had absolutely no speed to run into. And you've got her second.
Yeah, I love this horse for underneath bomb. That's going to just blow this thing up. We mentioned all the speed in here. Ignore the 1.5 mile race, ignore the dirt race, and I like her form quite a bit. I mean, her stateside debut, she had no chance with the way the pace unfolded that day. AG Bullet's a very good horse, as is Hang the Moon. We know that they came back to do after that. I think you and I know it had her 2 back at Santa Anita. We were playing a contest or something, and she just never had any kind of trip. She got out way too late, big gallop out. And then last time you mentioned she was in that same race as Raw Ability. She took a lot of money that day. She hit her nose on the ground. She was way back early on. I mentioned how slow that pace was. And you look at how fast she came home in that race. She came home just as fast as Raw Ability did. And we all obviously think very highly of Raw Ability's late finish. This horse is just as quick. So she's going to get the right kind of trip. I think she's going to finally get the right kind of trip in here. She's going to get plenty of pace in front of her. It's just a matter of can Tiago work out a trip. And she's going to be 20-1. And I hope she blows up this exacta for me.
No, I think you're exactly right. You pretty much hit on everything that I liked about her. I think the only reason why I went with a 9 instead of the 7, just because I thought the 9 was maybe more of a miler. Sure. I'm not like super concerned that she can't get a mile, but I don't know if maybe that's what she's best at, because her race at a mile and an eighth in February was pretty good. Mm-hmm. Lady Claypool's come back to win. I think she won at like 7 or 8 to 1 on NHC weekend.
Yeah,
she's another filly that's just getting good at the right time. But with the 9, a little bit of more of a miler, like I said, maybe not as classy, but I think not necessarily based off of numbers, but just how I've seen her run. She's kind of getting better with every start. She's been a little bit behind the 8 ball. You see 2 back. She was trying to chase a slow pace, and then prancing through Paris, came back and won I think she won a Cowbird Stake, going down the hill at a big price. And then last time, run a mile, my shoes went wire to wire. So she's another one where I think she's going to be tactical, but again, is going to get some pace to run at. And I think she's improving with every start and gets your boy, Ray Lou Jackson. So I like her. I like the 7 as well. I think we're kind of all over this race. So we'll go ahead and move on. But in the Royal Heroine, I'm going 6.92. Ryan's going 2.64, and Jackson is going 6.72. The next race is quite the drop-off in quality, but certainly not an easy race. That is race 8. It is starter option claiming 10,000 all the way down to 8,000. Purse to 20,000, 6 furlongs in the main track, 4 fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. I forgot, there's a little bit of a heavy favorite in this race in the 10. Champagne Cami coming in on the class drop for my boy Armando Ayuso and John Sadler. So let's go with those picks. And the boys are showing me love. They're all going with the 10. I'm going 10-4-6. Ryan's going 10-8-4. And Jackson is also going 10-8-4. So we'll go with you, Jackson, with the 10 Champagne Cami, like I said, on the class drop, and certainly the one to beat.
Yeah, nothing too clever to say here. I think she should be like 4 to 5, to be honest. I think she just towers over this field. she's got the numbers, she's got the clash, she's got the outside post, she's got the early speed. I think she's a complete standout in the spot. I'm going to single her. I'm not going to waste money using anyone else in any kind of horizontals. So if she's anything over even money, it'll be a very sizable win bet. I'd have to imagine, because she's supposed to win this race.
Ryan, single or just top pick?
Oh, single, 100%. You'll see when we get to my best bets as well. Jackson touched on all the points. I mean, Sadler's like 25% in claiming races on dirt from like 160 starters. This is what he does. This horse towers over the field. Should win for fun.
I don't really have much else to say. 5 for 15 lifetime, 2 back, 1 by 12. She doesn't face a very good field on Saturday, so if she's 4 to 5, I would not be very shocked.
And she's got the best jockey in the colony too. That doesn't help for her.
Exactly. I mean, she's got all the tools in the bag. Let's go with the 8. Just Is. Both of you have in second. I have Nowhere, but definitely considered. I think the Tiger Queen race is live, Ryan. And I think Just Is could definitely run a pretty good race second off the bench.
Yeah, without a doubt. That was kind of the angle I approached this with, was second off the bench. I think this one makes a lot of sense. That comeback race was fine. I mean, it was in the right spot for most of the race. Just didn't quite have the kick home. I think that's due to the layoff. So second off the bench makes a lot of sense, but just doesn't stack up to the number 10 in here. And I'd like to point out, I've been pretty critical of the Santa Anita morning lines, in the previous months, but recently they switched over to having the AI make it, and it is far worse. So like the fact that Crazy Cammy is not at least, or Courageous Cammy, or sorry, I forgot the name of the 10 horse here. Champagne Cammy. See, I was close. The fact that Champagne Cammy isn't at least even money is bad. That's just bad. So the computer's not doing a good job.
I was not expecting.
Yeah, I know it's not. Look at that. What
okay,
a surprise.
So remember the thing that I was mentioning earlier to you guys about the morning lines that I saw? Yeah. Okay, so I was just screwing around on DRF just because this tab right here, most of this, like I'll check the scratch board every now and then, but I was just kind of scrolling through this stuff. I clicked on graded entries, and over to the right, they had morning line odds, like for these races. So I was looking at them, and actually, I think they're updated now. I was looking at them, and Irapati was 4 to 1. I think Raw Ability was 3 to 1, and then I scrolled down to this next race, Jimmy Blue Jeans, who we'll talk about. I think Jimmy Blue Jeans was like 50 to 1. And I'm like, there's no way that's right. But then we were fortunate enough to get the morning lines. So yeah, that really kind of threw me for a wrench.
Jackson, I am curious, where did you think I was going with that?
I just thought you were going to say they've been better since they switched.
Oh no, they're not even close.
Because, to be honest, I haven't really been looking too hard to see if they've been accurate or not. I just kind of assumed you were going to oh yeah, let's give them credit for it. Then you should just totally tank on them.
Yeah, isn't this what you kind of mentioned this earlier, Jackson?
Yeah. HRN is has taken over. I don't know exactly how their process works, but I think what Howard said sounds kind of like what I heard. I didn't really, again, read into it too much.
Well, Jackson, what do you think about the 6 to 1 here? You think that's fair?
I think she'll be the clear second choice. I don't know. I think about 4 to 1. The problem is everyone else in this race kind of looks the same, which the morning line kind of indicates that everyone else is for that 6 to 8 to 1 range. But I do think this is the one that is going to kind of become the other horse people gravitate toward, just because she's run much faster in the past, especially in the claiming ranks, where you can look at her form last summer at Del Mar. It was quite good against probably better fields. And her last race was good. I mean, that was her pace that was pretty slow. The number still came back okay for the level. So she makes sense in here as the off the pace horse.
Yeah, I'm going to go out there and say that it's probably a 4-horse race. If it's not the 10, it's most likely either the 4, 6, or 8. Yeah. Let's go to the 4, Twilight Empire. Trainer switch, switching from Clifford Dilemma to Librato Barocchio, who I believe is very good off of these trainer switches, 21% on the bottom. There was one I had, but I can't remember it off the top of my head. She has 8 now, but Ryan, she's definitely got some numbers to go back to, and seems like one that could definitely run a nice second.
Yeah, you mentioned over 20% first, like with the new trainer. Also a $5 ROI on that, so fantastic. Go ahead and drink to that. Mm-hmm. But Librato Barocchio has had a really nice meet. I mean, you see the 2025 starters. Most of those are at Santa Anita. 6 for 29, 21%. He's been great to start the year. So excellent trainer in these kind of ranks, especially with these horses coming out of these kind of restricted optional claiming ranks. This one's not technically restricted, but most of the horses in this field are Pleasanton NorCal horses. So this one fits underneath, no doubt about it. I think just a logical alternative to an underneath pick if you didn't want to go with the 8 just is.
No, I think you're exactly right. I think the more I think about it, I think the 8 and the 10 are the only. Oh no, I think the 6. There's only a few of them that haven't been. They've been running an open company, and most of them have been in those restricted races for NorCal. So I think that's an angle that people will kind of gravitate to. Jackson, I think you need to fill up your drink a little bit more, and maybe you can get some toast while you're at it.
All right, I'll be back.
Well, I was going to have you talk about the 6. I'll let Ryan talk about the 6. 6 is discrepancy, another one at 8-1. Off the claim for Peter Miller, which is quite interesting to see Peter Miller throwing in some shakes down at the 8,000 and 10,000 level. Favored last time out, Ryan. Another one that people are going to be playing a lot of 10-8s, 10-4s, and 10-6s, I think.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I didn't have this horse in my top 3. I see you have this one in 3rd, though. So I'd love to hear. I'd love to hear what you like about this one. I think this one's certainly logical to round out a trifecta. I just couldn't really pick this one anywhere higher. I think the 4 and the 8 make up the exacta to me, without a doubt. But I think this one, along with the rail horse Woodbine Way, who I think is just going to be compromised from the rail draw at the end of the day. I think had Woodbine Way drawn better in this field, I think it would have made him a player. But I mean, down on the rail, that's really tough versus this field. These aren't war horses or anything, but he had it tough enough last time breaking from the 3 post. So I might owe a few drinks because Woodbine Way might be a mare.
That's a cautionary drink.
Yeah, that's a cautionary drink. But other than that, yeah, it's kind of just 10-4-8 for me, or 10-8-4, kind of either way you want to slice it, with Woodbine Way and the number 6 kind of rounding out the trifecta for me. But it's Champagne Cami on top all the way, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, this was discrepancy last time. And Justice was the 6, who was just kind of sitting off of the 2 and the 5 who dueled. Discrepancy didn't break all that great as we welcomed Jackson back into the frame. And then it kind of made like a sustained move to kind of get into it. It was a little wide, but just kind of flattened out toward the end as I fast forward too far. But it really wasn't that far off of Justice. So I was just kind of splitting hairs and thinking maybe that with a better break on Saturday, Discrepancy could kind of turn the tables on Justice and Woodbine Way. So that was why I had her in 3rd. But I think we've got it pretty much covered 4, 6, 8, 10. If it's not one of those 4, I think a lot of sequences are going to be blown up. So if you have someone else in mind, either put that in the chat or use in your sequential bets, because you're definitely going to get paid. We'll move on to race 9, but in race 8, I'm going 10-4-6. Ryan's going 10-8-4, and Jackson is also going 10-8-4. The middle leg of the late pick 5 is this race right here, as I get some kind of dairy-free sorbetto ad.
Talenti. Oh, man, that's a refreshing taste.
Normally, I don't get those ads when I zoom into like 2,000% so that we can see it, but I guess that was a pleasant surprise. Race 9, allowance officer claiming 20,000. I believe this is state bred. $61,000 purse going 1 mile on the turf. We've got a field of 9. The morning line favorite is not 50-1, but he is 9-5 in the 7 Jimmy Blue Jeans. Calbred, big white horse himself. Can't miss him. Juan Hernandez and Jeff Mullins. And then the 5 is the second choice brazenly for Tiago and Dan Ascarate. Let me go ahead and get the picks up on the screen. They're a little different, going 3 different ways. I'm going 1-7-9. Ryan's going 7-9-5, and Jackson is going 8-1-4. Ryan, will throw it back to you with the morning line favorite in the 7 Jimmy Blue Jeans.
Yeah, shout out to Jackson for playing my birthday, but I thought Jimmy Blue Jeans, I mean, I like this horse a lot. This horse is really just a picture of consistency. In 7 starts, he's run an 85 or an 86 buyer. In his last 5, he's ran an 85 buyer 4 of those times and an 86 once. That's better than most of this field has really ever run, much less run consistently. So I know this horse, 6 wins from 26 starts. He does like the winner's circle, but he just meets a field that he should beat. He's faced a lot of open company in most of his recent starts outside of the 9 furlong turf classic. where he was, clearly outmatched, and he was chasing a pretty fast pace that day. Old Pal came from a little bit out of it, or from well out of it. So did Coalinga Road. So I also think Jimmy Blue Jeans loves Lasix. This horse just makes a lot of sense. Is better on the lead. I'm hoping Juan Hernandez is ultra aggressive out there, but Jeff Mullins, Juan Hernandez team up. Normally you can find them right after the race taking a picture in the winner's circle. So I'll take these two teaming up. I know 9 to 5 is not creative. I just think this horse just kind of towers over the field in terms of consistency at this level.
No, I think you're exactly right. Look at the percentages on this combo. You see JJ 6 for 16, 38%, as Howard astutely mentions in the chat to start off their little spring meeting after the week hiatus. And then Jeff Mullins, he's got 3 of 3 runners so far in the money. And then overall for 2025, 22 of 66, 33%. A lot of nice numbers in that sequence right there. But he's on fire as well. And his horses, if they look like him, they're going to have a great shot to get in the winner's circle. Jimmy Blue Jeans, yeah, I think you pretty much hit it on the head. Jackson maybe doesn't like him as much. But a likely winner of the race, I think. That's why I've got him in second. Let's go to a horse that you do like, Jackson, and that is the number 8, Blame the Classic, 15-1. Nice second last time in front of the rival who's outside the 9. You got a question for me, Ryan?
Yeah, this guy is picking Blame the Classic, yet his under his name says Zenyatta. I'm just saying, Blame in the Classic and.
Whatever, bro.
Before you talk about the 8, I do want to mention that Howard is putting some polls in the chat. So if you want to go and respond for all you viewers that are interested in answering those questions, I didn't see what the question actually was, but if you want to do that, make sure you answer that. Jackson, convince us with the 8.
Yeah. Well, you got to make a decision here with the 7. I think you're either using him or you're using a few in this spot. I don't think you can use the 7 plus others. It's just he's the most likely winner. He's going to be probably lower than 9 to 5 even. And there's really not a lot of speed in this race. I don't know. I thought he was supposed to win that last race. He didn't make the lead and didn't run. Too bad he didn't make the lead. He didn't run. So I feel like if he's going to lose this race, it's because he doesn't make the lead. And the only other horse that has any kind of early speed is the number 8, Blame the Classic. So I'm hoping drawn right outside of him, he gets really aggressive ride for Victor. Don't know if I trust Victor to do it, but I hope he does in this spot. The 2-back run was actually okay. He had a really bad trip in there and he broke well. Kind of took back, and then the pace setter just kind of dragged right into his pathway. He never had a clear path. And then last time, kind of the same thing. He was pressing the fast, pretty on his pace, dug in pretty well to finish second behind Kingdom Clubs, who looks like a pretty good prospect there for Mark Glad. I think he's won a couple in a row pretty impressively. So I feel like he's running into form. The 277 buyers are not that far off what it's going to take in here. I do think he has a pace edge. And with this horse, you're going to know very quickly if he has any chance. If he makes a lead, he could be very dangerous. If he doesn't, I think the 7's probably going to win. But I'm hoping he finds himself on the front end and can take this field a pretty long way.
All right, I know the exact reason why he put this horse on top. Can you find what I'm looking at?
Yeah, of course. I'm looking at 2 paired up buyer tops right now.
That's not it. That's just a bonus.
Yep, that is it. 277s back to back, looking for the improve.
The time form
looking
is
to show some
3
speed.
points behind the 7. He's right there.
You say time form?
Huh?
You're talking about time form?
Yeah, he's 3 points behind the 7's last couple of races. I mean, that's not a big gap at all.
No, I don't think so either. And
He's
partially
15
why
to 1.
I'm not going with the 7. Let's talk about the 1, because I think we're thinking similarly about the 1, Jackson. That's Clouseau, who honestly I've never really been a huge fan of, but maybe I should give him a little more respect because he did rattle off 3 wins in a row. Came from way off of it in a slow pace last time, and his first turf race in a while, Jackson. But in a way, it could be a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, he's run fine on the turf in the past. It's by far the biggest question mark, right, is the service. But I do think he's supposed to get the right kind of trip. Spartan doesn't claim that often, but when they do, they usually do pretty well. They get Hector Barros to ride. They get the inside post. He's tactical enough to just kind of sit that pocket right behind the 2 speeds.
How about that turf effort, Jackson? That's pretty good.
Yeah. The problem is they came on the lead. He's not getting the lead here.
Yeah.
But again, I don't think the turf is a huge question mark. I just, there's a lot of things to like about this horse. I think he's supposed to trip out. If he is 9 to 2, I think that seems about right to me. I think that's a pretty fair price. I don't think I'd go much lower than that, but that's me.
No, I think that I pretty much agree with everything you said. I just think we've seen what the 7 can do. We've seen what some of these others can do. There's no real upside with anyone. I think there's maybe a little upside with the barn switch and the switch to a different surface going dirt to turf here. Obviously, he knows how to win. He can do it well. He's won from just off the lead. You see, 2-back, he won from 3 off of it. Had really no chance last time with the speed, and Fowler Blue, ran his ass off that day. I think this is a race where Fowler Blue like broke really slowly and rushed up like 5 wide, and then like sustained the bid somehow and won 20 whenever it won. But with all that being said, the one turf effort that I mentioned was pretty good. I know the other ones weren't great, but 2 of them were, I think, his first 2 races of his career, so you can kind of toss those. The last thing, I don't think Hector is going to show up if there's not something here with this horse. So I think that was kind of the last push to put me in the camp of the number 1 Clouseau. Hopefully we get that 9-2. But going in that direction, let's go to a couple other horses in this race. I'll throw it back to you, Ryan. We're going inside to outside. And then number 9, Rodrigo, I've got him in 3rd, but you've got him in 2nd. Would you like about him at 12-1?
Yeah, real quick, I noticed I made a mistake. I meant to pick the 6 in 3rd, not the 5 brazenly. I meant to pick the 6. That's on me. I was moving too fast with the buttons. But, number 9, Rodrigo knows. Okay, you can hold up the L if you'd like, but that's just rather aggressive.
Jackson,
but,
you were muted, so you can't say anything.
Yeah, he was muted. So, Rodrigo knows. I think makes a decent amount of sense. I mean, similar figures, very consistent on grass, just a little bit below what Jimmy Blue Jeans has been running consistently, but time form kind of puts him more in the ballpark, especially if you look to that effort 2-back. Obviously, Rispoli sticking a board is a huge plus, and Jimmy Blue Jeans does his best running on the lead. You get Rodrigo Knows, who can kind of come from just off of it, given he doesn't have a particular affinity of wanting to pass horses. But, either way, I think the race could set up for him. Race shape's going to put him in the right spot, and Rispoli's going to have him in a position to at least give an effort. If he doesn't have enough coming down the lane, then so be it. But I think Rodrigo Knows is going to be in the best position of all these runners that are coming from just slightly off the pace.
I thought his trip last time wasn't bad. It was actually a pretty good trip, but it was just kind of, I think, weird for maybe his style. He was down inside for a lot of the ways, and then when he tried to, there was an opening down on the inside. He tried to get inside of Blame the Classic, and it looked like he kind of didn't like it down there because there was a hole, but he didn't really accelerate. But he looked like he had plenty of horse. It was kind of weird.
I would argue, not argue, but I'd say the reason he just wasn't very ballsy in that moment, and I think that's because he's a gelding. So
yeah,
I think Jackson's had enough of me.
Jackson's going to start pouring that drink higher and higher.
Yep, higher and higher.
That's what this is for.
He'll just start drinking out of the bottle.
Is your toast done?
Nah, quesadillas tonight. No
Oh,
toast.
Hey.
All right, let's tone it down. But yeah, it was just kind of a weird trip. So I wonder if the switch from the inside to the outside will maybe help him out. And Rispoli stays. So I'm giving him a shot underneath at 12-1. Let's go to 2 more. Jackson will go back to USA.
I needed a horse in 3rd. I'm probably not going to use this horse.
Table for 2
or anything, but he has decent buyers, so I put him in 3rd.
Okay, gotcha. Well, we can move on from table for 2, and then we can talk about the horse that Ryan made the mistake on. That's Short Man. That's probably a reference to me, right, Ryan?
Actually, no. The name I won't even give you a hard time for that. I know this runner's 0 for 14 at Santa Anita, but I mean, going back to those previous turf races, all versus Open Company. Obviously, we're in versus State Bred today. They all fit really well. A lot of those efforts would put him, 5-2 versus field if he was coming off those turf efforts into this race. But it's been a little muddied up. He's been on the dirt. He's faced tougher. But last time out, 98 time form, 80 buyer versus Positivity, who's obviously a very decent animal. That was on March 29th. Comes back in here second off the layoff. Very low profile connections for Gennaro. Sorry, I had to Gennaro Vallejo and Aguilar. I mean, second off the bench, going 2 turns on the turf doesn't put him out of it. He has a running style where he can pass some horses. So I think that gives him a shot to probably round out the trifecta, maybe even get into the exacta if he really gets a nice trip. But he should be right there.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I think the consensus is it's either Jimmy Blue Jeans or it could be a bunch of others. So it's going to be interesting to see how race 9 plays out, but I'm going 179. Ryan's going 796, and Jackson's going 814. Let's go to the penultimate leg, race 10. Sorry, race 10. I was failing that part. We're all knotted up at 1, 1, and 1. Race 10, let me get that on the screen. Claiming 16,000, another race that is going to be pretty tough. $22,000 purse, 1 mile on the main track, and the morning line favoritism goes to the 2 Valentine's Candy, a tepid 7-2 on the line for Kazushi Kimura and Mendoza. Second choice to the outside, Asmodeus for Billy Anton Georgi and Peter Miller. Let's see who we are going with in this race. And again, we are going in 3 different directions. I'm going 4-2-10. Ryan's going 6-3-2. And Jackson is going 2-8-6. Jackson, we will start with you in the morning line favorite with the 2 Valentine's Candy.
Yeah, tough race. Pretty wide open, obviously, when you have a 7-2 favorite. This was more of there's a few horses in here I just didn't want any piece of at all. I don't want any horses coming out of that race on the Battle Cruiser race. I don't know what date it was. March 29th. I don't want any horses coming out of that race. That's just some big long shot one from 25 lengths out of it. It felt like a race that was not very strong. The 10 horse is a horse I'm going to let beat me all the time. Coming off of two atrocious performances. Now it shows up in California at a short claiming tag. Just horses I will never, ever take. So I do like the 2 in here. I think he's supposed to trip out. 2 turns is a question mark. He's done it a few times, earned some okay figures. He's also been, I think, 50-1 in every single one of those tries. So we really don't know if he's capable of doing it. I think sometimes these horses can get dragged along when they're in pitched way too high. You see running in the Bob Lewis, he doesn't belong there, and still ran a 70 buyer. That would probably win this race. So I don't know. I kind of had to use Montauk. This was a tough race. I didn't really have a super strong opinion, so I kind of defaulted to the 2 who I have the least questions about, I guess I could say.
Yeah, I'm with you. There wasn't really anyone that I loved. I've never really been a big fan of this horse to begin with, but I mean, I guess he could get the job done. I've never really thought of him as a 2-turn, horse. But he was in 2 stakes races, one of them state bred, one of them open. And those races probably fit. I mean, the 32 Flamer 2 back, even though that was 7, that race probably fits. Last time, he ran pretty good, was parked of a decent pace that time, going 2 turns on the turf. That field is way too good for this field. So it just seems like he's in the right spot. And if he's able to get a mile, I think Kazushi's got a good chance to take him to victory. Let's go to another horse. Let's go to the horse that you've got on top, Ryan. Mm-hmm. That's the 6 White Mountain, who personally I was actually not a very big fan of. Jackson's a little fan, but you are, I guess, as much of a big fan as you can be in this race. So talk about the 6.
Yeah, I mean, Jackson nailed it. He said that you're, no real strong opinions in this race. I don't think you're supposed to in a 16 non-2 lifer. It's really just finding a horse that you think maybe the light bulb angle came on. That for me, that's the number 6 White Mountain. Seemed to stalk the pace, given it was a hot pace, but seemed to stalk it pretty professionally and then pulled away in the stretch. So that was enough to like. It was a maiden $20,000 claimer. Sorry for laughing during the last comment, but Matt in the chat just had me busting out. That is fantastic. I'll drink to that without a doubt. But Ryan Hansen's had a really nice start to the year and really nice meet at Santa Anita. Escobedo has been one of his kind of top calls, top riders so far. He's done nothing wrong really in his 2 starts compared to the level of competition that he's faced. On turf, maybe he's not a turf horse, but he still ran a respectable figure, copied that figure more or less when he switched back to dirt going 2 turns, and drew off nicely. I mean, he's bred well for a horse at this level. Obviously cost a lot, was a bit of a disappointment, but for something at this level, I wanted a bit of a price. 6-1 seems fair enough to me, so I'll take him in a race that I would definitely spread if I was playing the horizontals.
Yeah, I think that's basically the only way you can go. I guess I'm a little worried that the horse that he beat last time, Silver and Black, has basically as many losses without breaking his maiden as I am years of age. And then the second reason was, let me go to the top of the stretch.
Yeah, he should not have won this race.
Yeah, no, he definitely should not have won because even though the one was 0 for 17, he probably wins this race if he gets through. But whoever was on him that day, I can't remember. It actually might have been Ken DeSorbo.
Probably.
But if he gets through, I think the one wins the race. So I want to like him more, but he was just, I don't know. There wasn't enough for me to throw him in the top 3 at least. Maybe I'll use him if he's taking some money, like in the $3 late pick 3 or the $5 late double. With the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar comment, I actually had a pop quiz for these two guys. Do you know what Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's real name is?
Nope.
Oh, come on. No?
Man, he was born like 50 years before I was.
Can someone put it in the chat, please?
I can look it up real quick. It'll take me 2 seconds.
No, I want to see someone get in the chat.
Yeah, no, haven't.
There we go. Look at these old heads.
There
Lou Alcindor. I don't know why I knew that, but I thought that was.
Hey,
So how
that's
do
a
you
good. Now that you're 21, whenever you're at a bar and it's trivia night, that'll come in handy one day.
Yeah, that's a take someone home with you kind of question.
Oh, all right.
We'll move on. Let's go to the 8. We'll go to the 8. Can you hear me knocking? 5-1. Ryan can't control himself right now.
Yeah, that was just
another maiden winner last time. Jackson, you got him in second. What did you like about him?
Yeah, I kind of want to switch my top pick, honestly. I do like this horse a little bit better. He's a bit of a better price. You don't have to do it. I'm saying it for the people. So this will be my top pick in here. Better price. I like the most recent effort a lot. It was only the second time he's gone long in the dirt. The first one he can toss, he was in way over his head and didn't run a step. Kind of similar case to the 6, where he's right behind the hot pace. I love that he split rivals on the far turn, kind of just ran away from that field and did it nicely. The number came back, perfectly respectable in that spot. And if you look at the buyers from the runbacks, 5 of the 6 horses that have run back have improved by at least 9 points. That's pretty significant, in my opinion. Maybe you can safely upgrade that performance a few points, and if you do upgrade that performance, he should be right there if he replicates that race.
I'll make you a deal. If you go 8-2, can I throw the 8 in third?
Sure.
Okay. Let me make that change real quick.
You're putting 8 third because I just made a great case for him, huh?
Yeah. While I'm doing that, I'll let you talk about the 3, Ryan. Pete's Old Fashioned. 1 for 21.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I liked this horse last time. 1 for 21, but you can win.
I would have preferred if this horse was named Matt's Old Fashioned, because that would have gone a little better. But no, Pete's Old Fashioned still fits. But again, just a horse that's going to knock up for a minor placing. 5 seconds, 3/3. He fits at this level in an underneath sort of sense, but nothing I would play on top. If I'm spreading, I guess I would use him because there's always a chance that nobody really wants to finish, and this horse happens to find himself on the lead. He didn't really get much of anything to close into last time. Everything kind of held together, but Pereira and Knapp, they've teamed up. They've been really successful. Obviously, I think that duo has cooled off a little bit since their really strong run at Del Mar and in the fall meet at Santa Anita. But another one that I just think fits at this level. He's going to run his race, and Jackson's holding up the L one more time, but that's all right.
I'm going to L you for that one. The horse that won came from 25 lengths back. How did the speed hold up?
Oh, my bad. That was that race. I'm thinking of my bad. I'm thinking of a different replay. Thinking of a different replay. That's on me.
And we're bringing Charlie.
Right hand up. That's on me.
Yeah. But at the same time, I feel like there's going to be one of these days where he's like 15-1, and then he just swoops over the top and wins, and none of us
like the one on Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably not. Before I talk about the 4, I want to at least mention this horse who I had in third, but that was unofficially. There was a change in the order, so I went 4-2-8, and Jackson agreed to let me do that if he went 8-2. The thing with him is it's hard for me to think that he, can't run at all now, even though he is in for 16. Because look at the races he ran 3 and 4 back, 84 and 83 buyer, 104 and 112 time form. That would blow this field out of the water. I don't know what to think of the last 2. Was it, the Tapeta? He was favored in those races. Can he just not run anymore? But I think other than that, there are reasons to play against him. Number 1, the post is terrible. Number 2, he's 1 for 17 with 5 seconds lifetime. And third, which might be the most important, is this horse I think is going to be pressing the whole time. So I don't think he's going to be able to clear from the outside. So if you've got 3 or more reasons to bet against the 10, which is probably why I just put him in the winner circle, then the 10 is certainly polarizing. Now, with the 4, I understand the point that the race last time wasn't great, Jackson, but the trip that he got was definitely not ideal. You see him nice and washy going into the gate, but he's wide on this first turn right here, taking some kickback, and then Raylu actually kind of makes this like big sustained middle move to kind of get up towards the leaders. You see he's in 4th right now. You can see him in the, I believe that's Sapronis Silks. But he's in 4th, and then it looks like he's going to kind of fade out of it after he got tired. But he stays on pretty good. The winner that day was Supermax, the horse that you're referring to when the speed held together or whatever. But he stayed on pretty good, held on to 3rd, galloped out just fine, which is not really super important when you talk about these low-level claimers. But I'm going to give him one more try. I knew I liked him a little bit last time, and he definitely traveled quite a bit of ground. So if he's 9-2, maybe I'll make a small win bet. I'm going to use him as a tepid top pick if I play, some sequential stuff. So I'm going in the direction of the number 4 Battle Cruiser. Anyone else got anything to say before we move on to the finale?
Nope.
Man, I make one mistake on a race replay, and I'm just never going to hear the end of that one.
That was almost as bad as a 1,000-yard one.
That one I think is absolutely.
Because the winner came from 25 lengths back. Battle Cruiser was second to last. Like, come on.
Out of the wrong race. My bad.
Let's go ahead and move on to the finale, which is just a doozy. I think we would probably all agree that this is the toughest race of the sequence. Here's race 11 right here. Main special weight, 60,000, 6 furlongs flat on the turf course, and another big field of 12 with 2 AEs, the 13 and the 14. I'm surprised neither of these guys tried to throw the 14 in their top 3, but they know my rule. But I think if the 14 draws in, you definitely have to pay attention. That's 13 for Kimura and Glatt at 5-1. She would be a player if she draws in. But the morning line favorite in the body of the field is the 10, Have Patience, Rispoli, and our boy Doug O'Neill. There are picks on the bottom, and somehow these guys are copied picks again. They're both going with the 9. I'm going 5-1-11. Ryan's going 9-10-3, and Jackson is going 9-7-12. I think it's Ryan's turn, so he can talk about the 9 Naturally Blonde. Raylu and Mullins 10-1 on the trainer switch. Ryan, let's get it closed out with a 9, shall we?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, this is certainly a difficult race, but this horse's turf form really fits versus this field. Look into the 6 furlong race just at Santa Anita. I know we kind of ran both of those 61s going 5 furlongs at Del Mar and then again at Santa Anita. But, I mean, the Del Mar form just doesn't really translate. Those are 2 completely different turf courses. He's had a run over this turf course going the 6 furlongs versus this field, versus the same level of competition, I should say, with the state bred maiden special weights. That was with Carla Gaines. Jeff Mullins really strong off the trainer switch. He fits versus this field. He's going to be forward, which I think is where you want to be. He could even find himself on the lead, but at 10-1, I don't know that we're going to get this come post time, but she, I should say, is a fantastic bet at 10-1, or really anywhere up till about 5-1 is where I bet I'd draw the line. I think she presents tremendous value.
I'm a little ashamed that this is not the first race, because I would really like to see the board in here just to see where the public is going. Jackson, I'm assuming you just saw that she was 4 and others were 3, and that's why you put her on top, right?
Something like that, yeah. I'll be pretty surprised if she's not the favorite, to be honest. Her turf numbers are kind of better than everyone's, and there's a couple of them, whereas horses like the 8 and 10 have like that one good number that kind of fits with her. This is also a significant barn switch to Jeff Mullins, who just isn't doing anything wrong in the last year or so. I mean, he's just winning everything. Watched her maybe it was a workout 2 back. She worked out with a horse called Abysmal Molly, who won an open company allowance race last year at Santa Anita, then ran really well at Del Mar in a mile race where she set the pace. I think she ran 3rd or 4th against some pretty good allowance fillies. So she worked in company with a good horse and went right with her toe to toe, and I think you're going to see a step forward first time out with Jeff Mullins. I like the post. I like how aggressive Raylu has been in these turf sprints recently. I think if you're playing this horse, you want to try to preserve the value of that 10-1 player in a bet like the turf pick 3, where not too much CAW money in here, and you're going to get closer to 6 or 7 to 1 rather than the 2 or 3 to 1 you'd probably get if you're playing something like the Pick 5 with all the CAWs in it.
Yeah, and I think that's the key to those sequences to find a horse, especially when you get the morning lines and like those when you play the turf pick 3, like the second and the third legs. If you can get just that morning line to somewhat stick going forward, I think you can get paid exponentially. I think this is me, signing the waivers. I like this horse. I'm not really sure why I don't have her in the top 3. I think I just kind of got caught up with others. I'll definitely be using her. And if you get 10 to 1, that's irresponsible, I would say. Obviously, the turf numbers fit. So she's going to be one that I think a lot of people are going to use, and she's definitely going to take some money. Let's go to some horses that, actually, let's talk about my top pick. Show the blonde some love. I'm going with the 5, Godavri. I think that's how you say that. This is a filly by Ohm out of a Uncle Mo mare by the name of Severa. So there is some turf breeding there. She debuted at 5 furlongs in July at Los Al. Obviously, probably not the plan to wait, however many months. Wow, English is tough. It's a long time that she's been off, but she's been working well in the mornings. I think I watched one. I don't know. I watched a lot of works on this race because it's very difficult. But she's a fresh face. Fraser's not going to stick on a horse that can't ride or can't run. First time Lasix. She was bet a little bit in the debut. She had the greatest jockey of all time on her debut. Just kidding. But I think she's one where you're going to want to watch the board. If she's taking a little money, you should probably pay attention. So I'm going with the 5, 6 to 1 to maybe strike a small upset in the finale. Let's go to some others. Let's go to Ryan's second choice, the chalk. Have patience at 7 to 2. Boy, Doug O'Neill has been patient to get her in the winner's circle, and not just her, but himself. 0 for 13, 4 seconds. But maybe he can get off the schneid here with the 10. Have patience.
Yeah, it's our boy Dougie. But, I mean, that effort 3 back to debut her 4-year-old season certainly fits here. Going 6 furlongs, I think it's what she wants to do. She flew last time, going the mile. You can see that indicated by the red time form figures. I think the cutback really just fits. I think she's going to have more bottom to her. Obviously, you get a jockey upgrade with Mario going out to Kentucky to move his tack out there. Rispoli hops aboard. This one cuts back from the route to the sprint, where Doug has had very solid numbers, looking around 12%. I think this one fits. Certainly bred to like the sprint. Have patience. I think Saturday, not today, Saturday might be the day for have patience to have it all pay off, if you will.
I like it. I think if she's going to get it done, it's probably going to be on Saturday with the switch and distance going from a route of ground back to sprints to what it looks like she prefers. You've got her second. Jackson, I don't necessarily like her, but definitely can win the race. Let's go to the horse you have in second, Jackson. And this is a firster. This is, I wanted to use this horse really badly. Of course, you can see why. Through a filly by Liam's Map, Galileo Mare. So there's some turf breeding here as well. Leonard Powell, not really a first-time guy, but there's really nobody you need to be scared of, right?
Yeah, I think horizontally I'm going to be probably ice cold to the 9. This is more underneath type. I think this is one that has a lot of talent. I watched some of her workouts. I kind of really liked what I saw in the mornings from her. I think she's one that's going to be a pretty decent one down the line. The problem is this barn usually gives them a start pretty much every single time. So I feel like she's one that's going to just drop out the back, come running late, maybe get for second or third. Maybe it's not good enough for second or third. Maybe she runs 4th or 5th or something like that. And next time is when you get her, when she goes a route of ground. But I do think this is one to keep an eye on. Probably going 2 turns next time, though.
Yeah, and like I showed on the screen there, she's got plenty of turf breeding, but it kind of indicates long. So the 6 entrant here, obviously just with the pattern, how Powell's horses just kind of need one. But maybe she does just need one. But again, if she's taking a decent amount of money, maybe she's ready to fire first out. So pay attention to that. Let's go to the 3. We got a lot of horses to talk about in here. We're going to the 3 Big City Miss, 5 to 1. You've got her in third, Ryan's second-time starter. For another friend of the pod, and that's Michael McCarthy.
Yeah, looking at all of our picks here, I can tell that Matt Miller will not be playing this race. He will pass. as a smart person should, unless you're playing the horizontals and you're able to spread. To the point that we were talking earlier, though, I think the turf pick 3 is absolutely the play of the day on Saturday. Not included in my bet. Well, actually, this is empty and I'm not getting another one. But the turf pick 3, yeah, you're going to get that value. Big City Miss is another one I want to include on my ticket. Obviously, Juan Hernandez, top attraction. Pratt is out of town. Michael McCarthy, he knows how to train a horse. They debuted this one going 9 furlongs, which is really long. But out of Mr. Big, I get it. Although I think the cutback fits. I think, those first 3 points of call, I think she was pretty well in it. I think just cutting back off that debut effort, McCarthy's had really strong numbers, looking at over about a 275 ROI at 23%, which you certainly like to see. So this is just kind of a trainer jockey combo angle that I want to take in a race that's very wide open. It could go a lot of different ways, and I think 5-1 is good enough value. Second time starter, certainly has some upside still.
Let me ask Noah what he thinks, because obviously, Ryan, you think it's a good sign. I was really confused by the 9 furlongs to 6 furlongs cutback. To me, that kind of I took it as they have no idea what to do with this horse, because this is really, really significant switch up. I think
she's a dud. I don't think she's any good. I don't think her first race was very good when I watched it, and then I watched one of her works, and she just doesn't look very good. I mean, she just kind of got dusted by. I think she worked with 2 workmates. And to your point, it's a little weird that they, run at 1 1/8 and then they come back to 6. You don't see that very often. McCarthy's not, really a guy to do something like that. So I don't know. At
the same time, though, the route to sprint, he's pretty good at it. So I mean,
yes,
two ways of looking at this thing. I don't know. It was interesting.
There is, yeah. No, I didn't love her all that much. Let's go to the 12 Clubhouse Cutie. Desormo, Cruel Jack, not a great post, but plenty of upside here. Another price on her, 15-1. Jackson, you've got her in 3rd.
Yeah, I wish I could have seen some workouts on this one. There was nothing available. Took some money on debut. Wasn't the greatest field ever, but this one is supposed to get better on turf. Probably, hopefully. He is a half to Clubhouse Ride, which I thought was a little interesting, and that's kind of the only reason I put him in 3rd. He's a big price. Not Clubhouse Ride, the Chosen Brawn. Jeez.
Yeah.
The Chosen Brawn, who is perfectly fine with turf. Big bomber, maybe get 3rd. And again, I'm going to be only 9s on my tickets in the horizontals.
I gotcha. Let's. I want to talk about 2 more horses that I've got in the mix. The first one that I want to mention is the 1 Wind Speed, who I think is a little bit like your 7 Jackson, although I think maybe she's got a better time to win or a better chance to win first out. By Ohm, Candy Ride Mare. There's some turf breeding here as well. Let's go to the Sibs. Awesome Rhythm. Has had a couple wins, turf sprinting, and then Heavenly Prince, even though he ran only 3 times, he was very good, and that was on the Tabita. Sometimes that can translate. And then further back, obviously, we know what Candy Ride did, but Heavenly Ransom, she was good. That was maybe a little bit longer going a mile, but there's just, there's some good pedigree here, and this is just, connections that are not going to get bet. Tyler Bays, Sean McCarthy, you see a lot of 0s and 1s. In those stats, especially kind of at the bottom and in their stat lines. And I watched her works. I think I watched the one that was 2 back. I thought it looked pretty good. She's going to save ground all the way. I know the rail's not a great place to debut, but again, there's really no world beaters in here. So I'm going to be using Wind Speed in the pick 5 and turf pick 3 for sure. And then one more horse that I wanted to touch on. Who do I have in 3rd? I have the 11. 11, Miss Mrazek. Who, again, is a little bit like the 5, where I don't think the plan was to wait this long to bring her back. But she faced the boys the first time. Stake Fries was a nice horse at the time, a 2-year-old for Craig Lewis. And she ran just a fine 2nd. Obviously, again, a very talented jockey on for the debut. So obviously going to be a downgrade. But Ricky's good. He'll be able to get her out of the gate maybe a little more forward than she was in the debut. So you can see by the picks, there are tons of different ways to go in the finale, and maybe even the 14 if she draws in. So pay attention to that. Scratches. But we'll move on to best bets. In the finale, I'm going 5, 1, 11. Ryan's going 9, 10, 3. And Jackson is going 9, 7, 12. Let's throw up our best bets. We're going to have Ryan go first this time. Ryan, I've got you on tap. You've got I didn't put the unhealthy part, but I did put the win bet on the number 2, Raw Ability. And then you've got an idea you mentioned earlier, straight double, raw ability into the 10 Champagne Cami.
Yeah, I will probably play the turf pick 3, but I don't feel as strongly about that because I think that second leg, if it's not Jimmy Blue Jeans, it could be one of about 6 others. So I narrowed it down to just the double. I think Champagne Cami, probably the most logical winner of the sequence. I don't think would be too bold of a statement for what we just covered. But raw ability, again, cannot emphasize enough. This is my top play. I cannot wait to watch this horse run. Been big on this horse since the debut at Del Mar. I know she's only run once since then. But even then, was behind a slow pace, did everything the right way, held off all the challengers pretty well. I think she comes back here and fires a huge shot, second off the bench for John Sadler and Hector Barrios in the saddle. She drew really well in that 13-horse field. She should sit the trip. She should get home in time. And I'm really excited to watch raw ability in the winner's circle after Saturday. So yeah, she's going to be a grade 3 winner. And then I'll play the double into Champagne Cami just because I want a little extra on top of that as well.
I like it. I think we're kind of all simpot to go thinking that Champagne Cami is probably the most likely winner of the sequence. So good luck to you, Ryan. Those are mine. I didn't mean to do that. Normally Ryan goes second. Jackson, there are yours right there. You're going straight exact on race 7. That is the 6 Tirapati over the 7 Son of Hill. I do like that quite a bit. And then you're playing a straight double into what we hope is a free square in the same 10 Champagne Cami.
Yeah, just pick up where Ryan left off. I'm doing the same double, just with a different horse to start, going in the same horse. So I'm going to treat like a free square. And instead of taking 2-1 on the win price, I'm going to try to get 4-1-ish, 9-2-ish on a daily double into a horse I think is a very, very, very likely winner in the next race. So going 6-10 with the double. And then I just think Son of Hill is a horse. There's a lot to like about that horse. I think this for the first time in the United States, she's going to finally get the right kind of trip. And I think she's got a really nice kick to her. So the 6 can hang on and the 7 can work out a trip or a business there. So that should pay pretty well.
I love it. Good luck to you. There is my best bet. I kind of teased it a little bit when I didn't mean to do that. And don't give me shit, Ryan, about the copying the picks because I had this in like at 5 or 6 o'clock my time, of course. Race 7 double. I'm going same as Jackson with the 6 Tirapati, but I'm going to use the 9 Eternal Rain, hopefully on the improve. She was able to step up and kick off that double with a big price. And then, of course, into the 10 Champagne Cami, probably the most likely winner of the sequence. So not anything too creative. And that I tried to put like a turf pick 3 together, but it was just I couldn't narrow down anywhere. I think. Yeah. I mean, you could try to single Tirapati, but I mean, she's no free square. And then the middle race.
You're singling the wrong horse there.
Whatever, little bro. The middle race is tough. I like Clouseau, but I definitely wouldn't single them. And then the last is a cluster. So, I mean, it's just going to increase the ticket there. So just going with straight double, at least 2-by-1.
Can we get our $1 bet of the week? You guys can have the 6 and I'll take raw ability.
By the way, I'm still undefeated.
Yes, you are.
Cards,
you are.
So you guys are due. We'll get no on the board this week, though. Ryan will be the only one.
I need your help. All right, before we wrap up the show, everyone wants to hear about what we think about this year's West Coast Derby contenders. Obviously, we've got to get things kicked off with journalism. Winner of the Santa Anita Derby. I don't think he's top of the points, but certainly the favorite going in. We'll start with you, Ryan, and I'm going to give you 3 choices to choose from. You're either going to categorize him win contender, super effective use, or not use at all. Which one are you going with and why?
Win contender. I mean, he's the strongest horse in the race in terms of what he's done. I know he's faced light fields. You could make that argument or whatever, but no horse in the entire Derby field has faced 20 horses in the gate. So they're all going to be there for the first time. They're all facing 100-something thousand fans at Churchill. It's going to be most likely an off track from what the weather's looking like. But again, there's no concerns with his breeding to handle that. There's no concerns with the distance. There's really no concerns. It's just a matter of, is he going to get the trip or not? So based on talent, based on how he should represent the West Coast, win contender, easy.
Jackson, which category do you fall, good sir?
Yep, win contender. I've been going back and forth on him pretty much every day about whether I'm going to, just as far as price goes, if I want to use him at what I think he might be, or if I'm just going to pitch him completely. I'm still figuring it out. I wish his time form numbers were a little bit higher because the time form, he's really not that much faster than everyone. Mm-hmm. Whereas Beyer, he is. Beyer, he's a complete standout. So it's going back and forth on him. I don't know. He's very, very good. I kind of said before the Santa Anita Derby, if he wins today, might be freaking monster, and he won impressively. I thought he had overcame some adversity in that race that a lot of horses up to this point haven't. So win contender.
And Michael McCarthy's even said, he wants him to, obviously you want horses to peak on the first Saturday in May, but he was just so good at that point in time that, there was nothing they could do. I mean, it's just getting better and better every start. And he's really good. I fall in the win contender, obviously. If he gets a clean trip, he's most likely the winner. I do want to pose a question with this horse. What is the lowest odds that you would take on him? Ryan, you go first.
Well, okay. I say he's a win contender, but I'm not going to bet him to win because I think there's other horses that represent better value, but lowest I would take if you had to tell me I have to put a win bet on him would be 7-2.
Jackson?
Yep. I took Fierceness last year at 3-1 because I thought he was the best horse. I think he's not quite as good as Fierceness was, so 7-2 seems about right.
Okay. I'm a little lower. I'm more like 5-2.
Wow.
It's a little low.
That's very low.
It's pretty low.
If Pratt was the jockey on journalism, I would do 9-5.
You guys are haters.
No, Rispoli's uber talented, but Pratt is Pratt.
All right.
You disagree. Let's move on to the next one. I guess the second favorite of the four would be Rodriguez. Ryan, where do you – actually, let's go to Jackson. Ryan or Jackson?
Yikes.
Where do you fall? Win contender, superfecta, or off the board?
He's a win contender. If there's any speed horse that's going to win this race, it's him. He also has how do I say it? He has the highest ceiling of any horse, and he has the lowest floor of any horse. I could see him running first in this race. I will not be surprised if he's last, just because of how the pace is going to shake out. So he's a win contender.
Okay, Brian, where do you fall?
I'm with Jackson. He has to be a win contender because he's not a superfecta contender. He is first or he is last.
Yep.
I think the post position draw is going to have a ton to do with it. If American Promises to his outside, that's going to be probably bad news. But if he is outside of all the speed, I think he's going to have the chance to cross and clear if the jockey's aggressive enough, and I would expect that jockey to be. I don't know if it's official yet, but, I mean, I know Mike Smith rode him last time, so I'll just assume it's Mike. But, yeah, has to be a win contender for me.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I think he's probably a win contender. I think it's more likely that he's a win contender than he is, I feel, off the board. I think I'm a little more confident in him that he's going to run well, and maybe I think he's got a chance to hit the superfecta.
What makes me
more than what you guys think?
What makes me most confident about him is the fact that Mataket defected to the Pat Day. Obviously, him and Citizen Bull and Mataket are all owned by Starlight. But the fact that they took the blinkers off Citizen Bull and are training him in and behind horses, they deferred Mataket, who is definitely a need to lead to the Pat Day, shows me that obviously the plan with Rodriguez is straight to the front, but also the barn and the team thinks the most of Rodriguez. So I'm with Jackson. Highest ceiling. If he gets to the lead, hey, we've seen what Bafferts can do on the lead when they're alone in the Derby.
He kind of wasn't that for the longest time, but he's just kind of taken on that role with the decrease, not in talent, but just the disappointment that we've seen from some of the others with Barnes and Citizen Bull. Like, we were thinking he was probably the third best horse in the barn, and now he's going to be single digits in the Derby. I mean, it's really crazy, but I think he's got a legit shot. So it's going to be interesting to see. I just mentioned him right now, but Citizen Bull, he is the, I guess, third most likely horse from the Kentucky Derby from the West Coast, because there might not be four. But Ryan, we'll go back to you. Where do you fall in terms of categories?
To be clear, it's win, superfecta, or off the board, right?
Yeah.
Off the board. I don't think Citizen Bull is going to be top 5, top 4, anywhere in that caliber. I think he has a chance to run middle of the pack, though. Jackson made some really good points on the Derby draft yesterday. If you haven't watched that, go check it out. But I'll let Jackson take it from here. I think he's a middle of the pack kind of horse.
Jackson?
I'll say super. I've come around to him just because I think he's going to get the right kind of trip in this race. I've mentioned I think there's about 5 or 6 horses that are just complete need lead types in this race, and then there's also about a very big chunk of them that are going to be 20 lengths out of it. And he's going to be the one that's kind of in the middle and might just kind of grind away and run evenly and hang on for a slice. I don't think he's a win contender, but I think he could round out a super.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that. I think there's a very good chance that he runs from places 5 to 9. Like I think he just kind of runs around the track, and you know, other horses, you know, fade to his inside, and then others kind of sweep around him. Especially with the blinkers off thing, I don't know if he's much of a win threat at this point, especially not going a mile and a quarter. Howard put in the chat that thinks he should be in the Pat Day Mile, which I'm not going to, you know, necessarily disagree with, but
I'll disagree with that just to the point of he's not naturally fast. He's found the lead on not luck, but intent, but he's not naturally quick out of there. Rodriguez is quick. Madaket Road kind of in the middle, but Citizen Bull of those three is for sure the slowest, but he's found himself on easy leads. So that's kind of led to him going wire to wire. And so that would be why I like Madaket and the Pat Day more than Citizen Bull.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. Last one we'll touch on. He's number 23 on the points list. He needs, let me do my math, 3 defections. I know it's not hard math. 3 defections for him to get in. And if he does get in, Ryan's boy Flavian Pratt will be aboard. Jackson, if he does get in, will you be using him on the win end in your supers or not at all?
Supers. I just don't see how he could possibly turn the tables on journalism, given the trips they had in the most recent race. It's a damn shame that he's not going to be able to run this race. They need to fix that for next year. It makes absolutely no sense. Yeah. It's ridiculous, but that's just how it is. I kind of hope he doesn't get in just so he can run the Preakness, and he'll be the second choice in there, and he'll actually have a legit chance in there because he'll be going against probably whoever wins the Derby and then not much else after that. So,
yeah, Brian, you're pretty high, aren't you?
I'm going to say win contender. And I'll tell to Jackson's point of he doesn't know how he's going to turn the tables on journalism. The Derby's all about trips. Sure. If you told me that the rail is going to open up or there's going to be a scene between 2 horses and what jockey do I want to take the gap between Pratt and Rispoli, I'm going to have to take Pratt. Again, I'm not trying to throw shade at Rispoli. He's very talented, but Pratt is the leading rider in the country. He just won the Eclipse Award. He takes risks. They're every chance they, pretty much pop up. So I know he's lightly raced, but he ran a huge race after breaking his maiden in the Santa Anita Derby. He had the better trip of between him and journalism, no doubt about it. But the Derby, you can find trouble, very easy. You're more likely to find trouble than you are a clean trip in the Derby. But I think Pratt, who also rides the Derby just exceptionally well. I don't have the exact stat, but he's been in the Superfecta more times than he's been out of it by a multiple of 3. He's very good at riding in the Derby. He's going to give the best ride. So I got to take Baeza, as a win contender. That being said, I would not bet him to win at anything under 12-1 in the Derby.
Yeah, I'm off the board, and I'm pretty strongly about that. I know he ran well, but Citizen Bull and Barnes were awful in that race. They were so bad, and he got not a perfect trip, but he got a very good trip. And
it was perfect.
It was pretty perfect.
It was perfect.
And
And he had every chance to beat journalism. I'm with you, Jackson. I mean, if he can't beat him that day, I just don't see him beating. Maybe he rounds up the supers, but I think if you're sheriffs, you just either point to the Preakness or you take some time off. You know, he's rapidly improving. You come back in late spring, early summer, and you just dominated Del Mar. I mean, you can run in. You still got the N1X condition. You can run in the San Diego and prep for the Pacific Classic and then crush that field because nobody out there is any good. Why is that an L take?
Preakness, bro.
Preakness?
Yeah, no, he's absolutely going to the Preakness.
I would love to see him go to the Preakness, but I think
I see what you're saying.
I just played out.
Yeah, I do too.
I think that would be a viable option. And I think I just don't want I'm looking at a horseman's, angle. You don't, if something happens in the Derby, I mean, have you looked at his breeding? He's at a Puka. He's a half to Mage and Dornoch. I mean, he's just bred off the wazoo. And if something happens in the Derby, you don't want to ruin something for him long-term, because I could just see him being a very good contender in the classic division. So I just don't want anything to happen. I don't want them to ruin their chances to have a really nice racehorse down the line. So
Yeah. If he can go in the Preakness and he can win the Preakness, though, that completes the Puka Triple Crown.
It does.
You know? He'd win the Derby, the Belmont, and the Preakness in 3 years, which would be nuts, to say the least.
That would be crazy. Final banner is up already, so we can go ahead and wrap up the show. We don't need any final thoughts from these guys, but we're already going on an hour and 16. Thank you guys so much for joining us here on the HHH Racing Podcast. This has been episode 27 of Pacific Horseplayers, covering the Santa Anita Late Pick 5 and doing a little Derby talk for the West Coast contenders this year in this year's Kentucky Derby. And for all of us on the screen, Ryan Anderson, Jackson Muniz, this has been your host, Noah Meagher. Make sure you join us next week and all of our shows during the week. And of course, take care. PHP out.